Hey, everybody. Welcome to T-Ham 141 Homestead. My name is Tracy. If this is your first time here, welcome. Come on in, pull up a seat and a drink. I'm drinking water, agua. And pull up a seat and, sunny and 66 degrees. Down south, nice. It is. Do you really want to know? Well, you can kind of see out my windows there, out the front door. That's not just dirty glass. That's snow squalls. It is snowing, Peter. I don't want it to snow. I'm tired of snow. Snow is no fun. In like a lion, out like a lamb was March, and now we're in April. We're on the 4th day of April already. Time is flying, and holy moly, I don't believe it. I got 7-8 inches of snow. Last time I went outside, I had 6 inches of snow, minimum, and I had to go down the road. There was a tree down in the road. And Alex had to go to work, so I went and took care of the tree, just cut it and pushed it off the road. And there was 6 inches then. That was early this afternoon, and getting lambasted. We had about 3 inches total for the whole winter. Wow. I guess that's nice, though. I mean, that's the area you live in. That's pretty nice. Hey, life in the valley, all is well. All is actually very well. It is snowing. I stayed inside. I told myself, okay, on days when it's not raining, and I should have been more specific, precipitating. I am gonna start trying to run. Now, when I say run, the military definition, the military title would be the airborne shuffle, fat man wobble, whatever you want to call it. It's funny. I got in trouble when I was in the Army, and I was calling cadence on a battalion run, and the sergeant major and the battalion commander were up front. And we're going along, and the battalion commanders love 8 to 10 mile runs, especially on a Monday morning. And our sergeant major for the battalion was, he was a little heavy, and he was. He moved over to the side, and he was coming back by me, or we were passing him actually. And I'm like, Sergeant Major, I'm in doubt. And everybody's like, Sergeant Major, I'm in doubt. Could it be you're falling out? Could it be your fault? I got called to his office. Woo, that was not a good idea. I got dressed down, man, big time. Dressed out, dressed down. Potential spam. I told you, do not call me here. I'm busy. Hey, Paco, bring me burrito. Can I do that? I'm not going to get canceled, am I? I am not. Anyway. We got about 20 millimeters of rain, so close to half an inch, and now we have 8 inches of wet snow today and high winds. Power's been out for the whole area for a while now. Wow. I was talking to Alex this morning. He was getting ready to go to work when I was checking the road. There was a tree down that way just before the seasonal road turns into a real road, and there was a tree between mine and Alex's, just a smaller tree. And so I went down I was talking to him. He said, yeah, our power went out last night for a few minutes, but it came right back on. Boy, oh boy, being off grid. I got to tell you, it's scary because I'm hearing trees fall. Okay. I am in a very windy area. I am on the southern tip of the Tug Hill Plateau. Big gain in elevation from Rome. And so we get a lot of wind here. Okay. And so I might be able to get Trevor and my firewood this year just from blowdowns. But I am terrified that there are going to be trees falling on my solar panels. Oh, they're getting covered with snow now. That's all right. It's dark enough. They were making, I don't know, 100, 200 watts today total an hour. So that's good. Richie, you don't want out, son. You won't go out. I'll open the door, you'll see the snow, and you'll cringe and shake your head and come back in. I haven't wandered into the bush yet, hearing lots of popping, cracking, yeah, it's not a good time to go in the woods right now, which is, I need to go in the woods. I don't know. I have a contrary spirit. You tell me don't push anybody. Wendy used to tell me, now Tracy, we're looking for toys for the grandkids, not you. And I'm like, well, of course. And she would get ahead of me because I'd stop to look at something for the grandkids in the toy section of Walmart. And all of a sudden, I would come running around the corner and she would give me that look because the aisle that we were just in, every button was pushed that could be pushed. And it was making a whole lot of noise. Don't know where that came from. I'm a button pusher. Tell me not to, and I'm going to want to do it. Not saying I will do it, but I'm going to want to do it. Yeah, it's boy, oh boy. I tell you, did anybody catch my last video? 4 days ago, Monday. Because I happen to have kept, I have a little box of bunny poop here. And maybe I'll raffle off some bunny poop. It's getting a little stale. I shouldn't have left the box open. I'm sorry, but Mike didn't fake it, I don't believe. For Mike and Angie, me and you, Homestead. He didn't fake it. And I don't think Angie did either. I don't know. But I'm not putting poop in my mouth. It's like trying to court a nun. It just ain't going to happen. They're melting in my hand. Whiting! Uh-oh. Lagavulin and Stella Artois. Artois. Yeah. Yeah, I got some of it left. Like I said, I ain't putting real poop in my mouth. But the first time I ever did this, that joke, I was working at Moose River Baptist Youth Camp in Lionsdale, New York. It was, I knew the land around there because we had hunted it most of my life until they put the cogeneration plant in there, cleared it all out. But now I'm chewing. But we took a nature hike with the teens. And we're hiking, and I had a little Ziploc baggie. And every once in a while, I'd stop and pick up deer poop. Because think about it, that looks a lot more like a deer poop than it does a bunny poop. Well, it's a little shinier than bunny poop, but and I'd pick up real deer poop. I'd pick it up, and because it's dry, and and I'd put it in a bag, and the kids were, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I got a demonstration tonight. I'm going to show you how to tell if it's fresh and stuff, and teach you. And I was actually teaching the kids a little bit about tracking. This is the way this is the way the deer was going. This is the way the rabbit was going. This is the way with the man with the mask and the axe was going, stuff like that. And so we got back, and that evening I was leading worship because I played the guitar, not well, but I played it. And I took, and I had a baggie of Raisinets. And so what I did was I took the baggie of Raisinets and the baggie of deer poop, and I passed it around and asked people, what's the texture? What's it look like? And the girls were like, ew, ew. And some of the guys were like, ew, ew. And so they're passing it around, and I went back out and I got it. And as I set it down behind the podium thingy, I set that down and picked up a bag of Raisinets. It looked like I just switched hands. And I said, now this is how you tell if it's fresh. I'm like, you squeeze it, and they're like, ew. And I'm like, you can see what they're eating. Okay. Beech nuts and stuff like that. And then I'm like, well, in order to tell what they're really, if it's really fresh, you kind of have to taste it. And I popped one in my mouth. This little girl started puking. And then some of the boys started gagging, and other girls started gagging. I felt so bad. I did not mean to cause that big of an uproar. I never thought that that there would be a youth that didn't have a strong tolerance to stuff like that. So yeah. And then I thought, wait, no, it's just Raisinets, and then I, had them pass the box of Raisinets around. And so, yeah, just another attempt to be funny that graphically failed. Oh my goodness. Well, before this snow and this rain, I've been waiting for rain. I've been wanting rain because I got my rainwater catchment system here. Basically 18 feet of pipe here. Getting yeah. Oh, dude, I don't know if you guys know this about me. I was born at a really young age. But I was born again right after Desert Storm, right after the war. I came home on leave, and my brother Trevor is 5 years younger than me. I had just turned 20. In fact, for my 20th birthday, I was in the Port of Al Jabal on guard duty, and Sergeant Witherspoon said, "I hear today's your birthday." I said, "Yeah." "How old are you?" 20. He said, "Wow." He says, "Well," he says, "happy birthday." And he handed me this box wrapped in newspaper. I'm like, "Thanks, Sergeant. You didn't have to." And I opened it up, and it was live rounds. And he's like, "Yeah, I did. We just declared war." January 15th is my birthday. And that's the day that we declared war on Saddam Hussein. And so after all that, I was 20 years old, and I came home on leave, and Trevor took me with his school kids. He went to a Christian school, and Maranatha Christian Academy. Maranatha means he's coming back, I believe. And we went to a Word of Life. They called it Super Bowl back then. We watched a pro or semi-pro hockey game. Awesome. Blood everywhere. Then we had a rally. After everybody cleared out, we had a rally at the stadium. All you can eat pizza, with games and cool stuff going on at the arena. Then we went bowling, and then we went roller skating. It was an all-night event. Very, very cool. And the first night that we went, because we went to two of them, but the first night we went to Binghamton, New York, and that wasn't our night. So we drove from upstate New York all the way down to Binghamton, and that wasn't where we were supposed to be. We were supposed to be the next weekend in Glens Falls, but I was riding with these kids, and I'm like, dude, they're having a blast, and not one of them is drinking, not one of them swearing. Wow. And so the next week, Trevor paid my way, because I wasn't going to go. The second week, there was a DJ playing at the bar down in Port Leyden, and I wasn't going to go. And, but Trevor, he carried, you guys remember Tom Watt, these big cardboard boxes that had all sorts of stuff that you could order, but the kids would have them so that they could show, what the things were and stuff like that. And Trevor sold Tom Watt and paid my way. He bought my space also. Hey, Darren, how's it going? Welcome. I am doing amazing, even with the snow. But so I ended up, the second weekend I ended up going. Same thing. All these kids were having a blast. No drinking, no cussing, no swearing. It was a bus ride. On the bus ride home the first weekend, we got 3 big garbage bags of spitballs. Hey, that's all right. Lurking is perfectly acceptable. But we got 3 huge bags of spitballs because we had to clean the bus. And during the rally, they gave the gospel message. Mike Calhoun, who I actually have met and talked to on multiple occasions, because when I went to the Bible Institute and stuff. And hey, Karen. And so Mike was down on the ice after the hockey game, and they got the t-shirt air guns shooting t-shirts way up into the stands. They got music. Then he comes out and he gives a gospel presentation, and it was like he was talking to me. I was carrying a lot from the war, from being a soldier, from my life, basically. And it was like he was talking just to me. So that's the night that I said, God, I've asked you into my heart a million times. I'd go back to the barracks and I'd say, okay, Lord, we're going to do this. I'd mess up and chase a Fraulein, let's say, or go out drinking. Well, so much for that salvation. I'll try again next time, yada, yada, yada. And this time I realized it's not about what I do. It's about what he did. And I said, listen, we've done this before, Lord. No, whatever you want in my life, put in my life. Whatever you don't want in my life, get rid of it. It's up to you. I am just going to live. I'm going to try to obey you. And I'm just going to live a life, try to live a life pleasing to you. And he did. After that leave, I went back to Germany. Then they sent me, after that leave, they sent me to Fort Irwin, California, the Mojave Desert. I did so good in one desert, they sent me to another. Yay! And the National Training Center. And everybody was on leave because it was around Christmas. It was November 16th at 11:30 p.m. when I did that final asking Jesus into my life. And so I'm sitting there and I'm reading the Bible, and all day long there, because I was new. I wanted to know, okay, I just gave my life to something. I want to know what it's about. And then I took and I had sketched earlier on the back of an envelope an apostle writing with the Holy Spirit whispering in his ear. I just like real quick stick drew it out. And so because I was into drawing back then. And I said, Lord, would you like to draw with me? And I started drawing. And just a few minutes into it, the room, it filled with God. I realized I draw with like real quick, shady strokes and stuff, but I was drawing with defined lines and stuff. The room filled with God. He was there. He showed up to draw with me. And I ended up on my knees confessing sin and blatting my eyes out and praising God. Nobody was around. It was just a very intimate, personal time with God. And I got the picture. I think I saw the book the other day that I drew. Maybe in a few minutes I'll go get it real quick. But the next day I was reading again in the Bible because, well, everybody was on leave. There was nobody to hang out with. I hadn't met anybody really yet other than the rear detachment for Christmas leave. And so it kept coming up with suffer the little children to come to me and talking about kids. And I said, God, if you want me to go into youth ministry, you open the doors and I'll walk through them. And I ended up shortly thereafter getting out of the military, going to the Word of Life Bible Institute, working with kids at the church. And then I worked for Youth for Christ I was the director of a youth center in the huge town of Port Lyden, New York. And ended up meeting Wendy, marrying Wendy. We moved to Penn Yan when I came back, and I've been working some form of youth ministry ever since. And there have been a couple times in my life where God has filled a room. I am not Pentecostal. If you see me, and I say this as a joke, but I intend no harm to anybody who is Pentecostal. But if you see me flopping on the floor, call an ambulance, because that's not part of my routine. But if you hear me speaking in tongues, pay attention, because that's going to be God, because I don't I don't do that. I don't need that. Yada yada yada. But yeah, so, and that is where we come full circle to Moose River Baptist Youth Camp and the Raisinette rabbit dung, deer dung, and making a whole bunch of kids sick to their stomach. I really apologize big time to the guest speaker. I think it was the Duvals, they're missionaries to South America, Chile, I think. And he had to speak after that. I really apologize. But I had to start playing as soon as you started talking. It's Pente, as in 50. 50 days after. Basically, an ad popped in. Oh, of course it did. Why wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm kind of conservative. I've made it to hold the baby up. What is it? They got, the open hands, and then the hold the baby, and then hold the baby up, and the different but I shouldn't be, but I am in my worship. I am self-conscious because I am a very me-centered person, and I don't want to attract attention to me at a time when attention should be on God. I have had beautiful fellowship with the Lord during worship. My niece, Taylor, she is she went to the Bible Institute, and she raises her hands and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with being Pentecostal. There's nothing wrong with being Baptist. There's nothing wrong with it's just some, like the Baptist camped on the idea of baptism, and the Pentecostals camped on the special gifts that happened in the book of Acts and on Pentecost. The Methodists, they camped on the methodology of Christianity and stuff like that. Find where you're comfortable. Unfortunately, we have a church on every corner in the United States and North America. We have a church on every corner, and we don't need one. Some churches get in trouble, over, they'll split. A new church will start because they didn't like the color of the carpet in another church, or God forbid, a broken person in the church the people were at, a broken person said something that offended them, probably doesn't even know they offended them, but they left the church and started a new one. And that's sad. We need to stand together. I am not Catholic. I do not, I don't agree with a lot of Catholicism, mostly because they've, the higher ups have put a very low value on the authority of Scripture. But Catholicism as a whole, the people are searching for God. The people are hungry for God and pursuing a relationship with Him. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But wherever God calls you, whatever God tells you, do. One of the most effective quotes I ever took from my days in the Bible Institute were, I think it was Phil Mosier said, serve God in concert with your own personality. If you are an outdoorsy person, serve God as an outdoorsy person. If you're a rough, gruff, Billy Gruff person, do your best to serve God as a rough, guff, Billy Gruff person, because it's going to be hard for you. I have seen bikers with tattoos, the sleeve tattoos, and the bald heads and teardrops under their eyes, working at a Christian bookstore. And I asked him, I said, hey, how's it going? You know, because this was in Florida, Lake Wales, Florida, at a Christian bookstore. And I said, I got to ask you, now, you know, you're saved. You love the Lord. What do you think of your tattoos now? And he says, I thank God every day for them. He says, they remind me who I was and who I am. And that was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. Because no one is perfect. No one, we all like sheep have gone astray, you know? And so if you go to church, Darren, I'm talking to you, my friend, if you go to a church, don't expect the people to be perfect. It's not a museum for perfect people. It's a hospital for broken people. And the lunatics are running the asylum. My pastor will agree with that. The lunatics are running the asylum. But we're trying. We really are. And it's all got to be in love. So yeah, earlier when I made this, I said, I ain't plowing. I think I said it on my thumbnail. I ain't plowing. I ain't going to plow. Well, I think I got about 8 inches now of snow. So I might end up plowing. Literal proof and exist that God exists. This is ultra easy for those with sight. I ask, does God exist? Why can't I see him? Person helping me said, are you sure? Are you really sure you can't? Yeah. 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 It breaks my heart. We come down on people and we concentrate, which we need to tell people about sin. Because sin is what separates us from God. And that's what makes everything that happened with Jesus make sense. We were separated from God and God brings us back. And it's our sin that separates us from God and Jesus that brings us back into the relationship with God. But what Jesus did took the power out of sin. Sin no longer has control over us. It no longer has power over us. The eternal consequences of sin are no more. Now, will we answer for everything we say and do? Absolutely. It wasn't the people at church to change. No, it's not. It's not up to us to change. We can't. I can't save anybody. Holy cow, man. I'd say I'm only making it into heaven by the skin of my teeth, but it's by the blood of Jesus. And if it weren't for his grace, I would never have a chance. But we need to let people know, because Jesus himself said that he was the only way to eternal life. He was the only way to the Father. When he said, in John 14:6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except through me. The way, the truth, and the life were gates in entering the temple, or entering the holy place of the temple, I think. Um, took about 3 minutes of critical thinking to understand that being absolutely. I have never met a true atheist, a true honest atheist. Now, not saying atheists are dishonest, not saying that at all, but I can convert them to agnostics, not knowing, just like that. Because when they're honest, that's what they are, is an agnostic. Because do you have all information in the universe? And they'll say no. You say, okay, do you have 1% of all information in the universe? And they're like, well, no, that's an absurd amount of information. There's no way I can know that. Like, do you know what a flea is thinking on the back of a water buffalo in Vietnam right now? Well, no, I don't have that information. Okay. So let's assume, just for the sake of easy math, because I don't like math, that you have 1% of all information. Is it possible that God is in the 99% of information that you don't have? And they're like, well, yeah, that is possible. Boom. So you're not an atheist, you're an agnostic. You just don't know. Yet. Because there are two different kinds of people in the world. People who know and love people who love Jesus Christ, and people I haven't told about him yet. Anyway, I didn't mean to. Yeah. Okay, so that's in your little 1% of information, but there's still 99% of information that you don't have. Please don't roll over. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And you're an honest man too, Darren. And you know, I love you as you are, where you are. And just like God loved me where I was, but loved me too much to leave me there. Was an agnostic for a long time, just wanted some sort of proof. Every breath I take, I get it. Yeah. It's amazing. When you go down to the subatomic level, there's a thing called the God particle. I want to say it's called lanolin, but it is actually the particle of energy that holds atoms together. And when you look at it under a microscope, it's in the shape of a cross. And I know I shouldn't, this is a homesteading channel, but I'm sorry, but my reasons for homesteading are all pretty biblical. And the fact that now it just took me 3 days to buy ammunition. Thank you, Kathy Hochul, for giving me permission to buy ammunition, which is against the Constitution. Check out Paul Kingsworth Experience. Okay, I'll have to check that out. It is amazing some of the ways that God lets us know. I mean, we know that there is no way everything or nothing blew up and became everything. We know that. That's just not common sense. And if you believe that, then if you believe that, vote. Never mind. I ain't getting into politics too. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We were talking about the first time I ever did my rabbit / deer poop trick that I did in my April Fool's Day video was at camp. And yeah, I've worked youth ministry for a long time. Yeah, I started in 1991, and pretty much just a couple years that I hadn't, and then up till COVID, and then I still work with kids quite often on Facebook and stuff. I wanted a more pure life, honest life, and life with meaning. I ended up off grid. How does that happen, and why was that my answer? I lead to live here and exist and make some. Yeah. I think, okay, whether or not you believe in the Bible and biblical things, I think you would have to be Helen Keller. Well, no, she was a Christian. Deaf, dumb, and blind in some way to not see biblical prophecy coming out. Yeah, I got it. Biblical prophecy work coming out through the news. Hamas claims that the reason they did the attack on Israel on October 7th was because the presence of the red heifer in Israel. The red heifer needs to be sacrificed, and the ashes of the red heifer are used to purify the temple and the elements in the temple. And there is actually I believe I read that there's a scheduled sacrifice of the red heifer soon for April. And in order to rebuild the temple, that means Jews are going to begin worshiping on the Temple Mount. And because in Judaism and Christianity, the temple is the #1 holiest spot in the world, the Temple Mount. It's 3 mountains with a big platform built on it. And in Islam, the Temple Mount is the 3rd holiest site. Apparently, Muhammad and his donkey went to heaven to talk to Allah or something to that effect. So it's like the 3rd holiest spot. Jesus Christ Superstar. Be careful, though. Don't take any theology from it. But yeah, I remember Jesus Christ Superstar. What? Last time I heard that, I looked over there and there was a chick up on top of the. I've got 20 chicks in a basin. Let's see. Excuse my mess. Can you guys see? No, you can't. Let me open this up. Let's see here. See, under that light right there, there is a wash basin with 20 chicks in it. And I have screens over it to keep them in and the kitty cats out. Which is, I think, what he wants. But as soon as I open the door, he's going to... Oh, I am sorry. Hold on. They must have changed my settings. Let me get rid of the ads here. I apologize for that. Content. I said content. Live stream. This one. Monetization. Yeah, they did. How do I turn that off? Choose schedule mid-roll ads at a set frequency. There, I'll insert them manually, so I won't insert them at all. That should be better. I apologize for that. They must have maybe I worked on some of the stuff there today. Maybe I accidentally hit a button. Yeah, they're peeping. They're peeping, the chicks are. It seems to me the big part of sticking with the simple life is finding meaning in it or anything we do. And that will be different for all. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am sorry, Karen. I got rid of the ads. Well, that's okay. I mean, I'm not really over concerned. I'm not going to get rich on YouTube. $45 a month. So I get paid every like 3 months. Ain't going to do it. There is a thing Trevor showed me on the TV. I have a Fire Stick. I have a Fire Stick, and when you're watching YouTube and an ad comes on, you go up, and click the little I, and it says, stop seeing this ad. You click, stop seeing this ad, and then you click return to video, and then up twice, and it comes right back to your video. But yeah, and I only do that like on other people. Like if I'm watching a friend's video, I'll watch until it lets me take it off. But yeah, and then you end up missing some of the conversation, and I can understand that can be frustrating to say the least. Well, it let up on snowing a little bit. It was almost dry enough for me to get my tractor to the logs and start cutting on logs. I say, hey, yeah, the next, because before it started raining yesterday, because it rained all day yesterday, I said, well, yeah, next day it dries up. I'll go out and take the tractor and pick the logs up and start blocking them up. And as wet as it is right now, I would just end up in a big mud hole. Tug Hill clay is nothing to play with. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I was just reading the Vikings message to the ponytail. Once YouTube refines the ad push, they'll have a bot in every live chat with a countdown and 2-minute intermission. I don't mind it. I mean, it does. It makes a little bit of money. Viking ponytail. But it, I mean, it's a way to make money. The people that run YouTube, are only interested in two things. The main one, making money, and the second one, pushing political views and squelching others. But that's okay. If I, when I grow up to wear the big boy pants, I can start my own multi-billion-dollar video platform, like YouTube, so that I can, so everybody can be free and say what they want. You'd think there was one already out there somewhere. Speaking of which, April 12th, we will be releasing another episode of the No Borders Homesteaders podcast. This time I think we went a little shorter on the YouTube and a little longer on the Patreon. Wait, no, that would be the one in April 27th, I think. I don't know. I lose track because we're recording them ahead of time, because once spring and planting season gets here, everybody is going to be wore out because we're supposed to record Tuesday night at 7:30 when Tracy doesn't get wrapped up in a movie and forget. But yeah, but you can check us out. We have a YouTube channel, No Borders Homesteaders, and our icon is just NBH. And then we have a Patreon channel, No Borders Homesteaders, because there's so much about the homesteading life that we can't talk about on YouTube. We can't show you on YouTube. Remy has a chicken butchering video on Patreon, on the Patreon channel. I have a 3-part deer butchering video on Patreon. You can't do that on YouTube. And on Patreon, apparently you can. And we're trying. I mean, I don't know. I think it's $3 and something American and $5 a month Canadian, just because of the difference in the money. We tried to get it down to as low as we could for the Canadians. But because yeah, $5 US in Canadians is like almost $10. I mean, that's crazy. But so we're trying to get information out and up, and we can talk about things freer. And we have a lot of fun, man. You get Darren and Angie and Annie and Remy and Marilyn and me together, and we just have a lot of fun talking. I mean, then you add a subject to it, and showering outdoors when we first got here, immediate shutdown. Seriously, filmed in 144p alpha. Oh, man. Sorry. Wow. Yeah, 144p is not very good. That's not very good. Yeah, we learn a lot. And then Darren and me and Patrick were thinking about starting one where we talk religion, because Darren is kind of, Patrick is kind of ecumenical, kind of God is in everybody, God is everywhere. Darren is it heathenism? He believes in the Viking gods. And I am a Christian. And then we might even be able to get Angie in on that. No front facing. The camera, actually, you couldn't tell what way. Wow. Southern USA. Yeah. Basically, many gods is what Darren believes. And the thing is we can have conversations on that, because if I were to hit people with, you're going to hell and you need to repent, I mean, there's a place for that, but I want to have the conversation. If my beliefs don't stand up to scrutiny and they don't pass the test of being scrutinized, then I need to change. Then my beliefs are wrong. Whereas I believe the Bible and what it teaches. I got, my beard's starting to creep up to my eyes. Sorry, squirrel. But if my beliefs don't stand up the way I believe the Bible does, then it's no good, Every Irish grandfather. Cat, you don't want out. I'm telling you, you won't. I'll be right back. I'm going to try to let the cat talk amongst yourselves. Here's a topic: the weather. Talk about yourselves. Mike Myers. You want out? Come on. Come on. Go. I knew you wouldn't go out, you little brat. Little brat wouldn't go out. Oh. Well, my solar panels are covered with about an inch of snow. Yeah, one of them shedded right off. There's not a lot of sun anyway. It looks bright out there, but it's just because I don't have any real lights on in that side of the room. Yeah, we've had some serious windstorms. I've been trying to remove trees from the road and branches from the driveway and stuff. I've got a hemlock down. I need to let Trevor know about it. We'll take and get it put on a trailer and take it. If it's any good, we'll take it to one of the local sawmills and nice. I wonder how many kilowatt hours I did today. Hold on, I'll be right back. It'll only take a second. 922 watts, 0.922 kilowatts. So almost 1 kilowatt that I've made today. I don't get a whole lot. I've only got a 1,000-watt system, and they're used panels. I need to get more panels. Drove 7 hours today from 7 degrees over freezing and people cutting their grass to 1 degree below freezing and people snow blowing. Oh my goodness. Oh, 4,800. Wow. Nice. Yeah, right now I've got mine up. I think it's I'm gonna say, well, it's up like this, so it sheds some snow. What in the world is that? It's a reflector. Cool. But then in the summer, here in probably May, late April or May, I'll take it from about here down to about here, for the angle, and suck every little bit I can out of it. It's been nice because with the sun we have been having, I haven't had to run the generator very much at all. We pushed 3,280 watts peak sun production. All the fan, yeah, my fans on nice sunny days, my fans start running. And I spray. I got those oxygen cans to like spray your keyboards and stuff. And I'll spray the fans out so that try to keep them clean-ish. Richie, you're not gonna go out, so you just need to relax. So Darren, are you going live tonight at all or no? Well, you're not home, are you? Did you hear about the vote against another tax to help the billionaire owner of the local pro sports team here in Kansas City? 58% of the voters said no. Love it when that happens. Yep. Our school system, well, the South Louis School District, wanted to they wanted to build a school on a elementary school on the middle school and high school campus. Everybody turned out, voted no. Turned out again, voted no. They brought it up to a vote again, except this time they didn't publicize it very well. They did what they were required to do by law to publicize it, and it passed. So basically they're like, okay, we're just going to keep voting on it until we get the result we want. No, I'm at some lakeside resort right now. Maybe go for a polar bear dip. Ooh, video that. Video that. But yeah, lower sun wattage today, but more of a constant 2000 to 20. Yeah. Yeah. I would rather have even constant all day than a high peak, low peak, high peak, low peak. I don't know. It might be easier on the equipment. Right now there's some Second Amendment stuff going on. New York, there is a right now we have to get a background check to buy ammunition. The first time I did the ammo check, it took 7 hours. The background check for ammunition. Now, mind you, to buy the gun, I do a background check. And to buy, now I have to do one to buy the ammo too. And I have to pay for it. It's like $10 extra. Cat, hush. I'll be right back. He's got to go out. Oh, you're going out this time. Go. Sorry about that. But they so I've got the first time I did the background check, it took 7 hours. They said it probably took longer because I'm former military, and according to the Department of Homeland Security, former vets are iffy, or veterans are iffy. The second time it took 10 minutes, And this time it took 3 days. I can now say I was alive at a time. I'm old enough to remember going to the store and buying ammo in one trip without asking permission. But that's going up to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court will take it, see, what I never realized is the Supreme Court does not have to take, of the United States, does not have to take a case. They get the briefs and they decide, yeah, we want to review this one. No, we want to send this one back down. But I'm getting a lot of the oh, nice. I'm getting a lot of the lower courts on Second Amendment issues are defying Heller and Bruin. Bruin was another New York thing where they said, listen, if back in the late 1700s, early 1900s, or early 1800s, there were no laws, there's no history of a law like this, then it's not constitutional. And magazine bans, rifle bans, I mean, you can own a cannon. You could back then. Have you ever heard of the privateers? But anyway, before I get going on that, I'm going to go ahead and close this down, guys. Stay safe out there with the cold weather, with the wet weather, with the cold and wet weather. Things are getting slippery. And I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And stay warm and dry. Hopefully I'll be able to get my chicks. They're getting feathers on their backs, and I want to get them out to the auxiliary chicken coop as soon as I can, but I got to make sure that they're going to, I don't use heat lamps, but the lowest they've seen is like 60 degrees. In the house at night. So I want to make sure that they're not going to go out there and freeze. All right. Well, guys, we will talk to you later. Y'all have a great day. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, that little notification bell so that you get notified every time I come out with new content. Last year, our Outback FM 80 shorted out, registered 0.1 volts. It came back to life the next day. We may have 2 power Moffats melted. I set the MPP to max at 60 amps in 48 volt mode. Oh, wow. Wow. Well, I hope that works out for you. All right, guys.